In an old learning grove on the edge of a quiet village, a small group of students often gathered under a wide banyan tree. The mornings there were slow and gentle. Birds called from far branches, and the sound of the river moved softly in the distance. One day, as the sun was just starting to warm the earth, three boys, Arin, Dev, and Raghav, sat together on a stone ledge, speaking in low voices. They were friends, but that morning their faces were serious. Arin had seen something in the village that left him unsettled. A married man, known for loving his wife deeply, had been laughing and exchanging glances with another woman near the well. There was nothing obviously wrong in what he did. Still, Arin felt a knot in his chest. Why would he do that? Arin wondered. If he truly loves his wife. He shared what he had seen with his friends. Dev frowned and said he had noticed similar things too. Men who spoke of loyalty, yet looked alive and excited in the presence of other women. Raghav said softly that he feared this was some hidden weakness inside men, something shameful that no one wanted to admit. They went back and forth like this for a while. One of them said maybe it was simply lust. Another said maybe it was nature. Another suggested there might be something deeper happening that none of them yet understood. The more they talked, the heavier it felt. Finally, they resolved to consult their teacher about their dilemma. He was a gentle, wise man held in high esteem by everyone in the village. He was known not only for his knowledge of scriptures, but also for the way he understood ordinary human hearts. Later that morning, they found him sitting under the banyan tree, as he often did, a simple cloth wrapped around his body, eyes relaxed but awake. When he saw them approach, he smiled, as if he already sensed that they carried questions. They bowed and sat down near him. There was a brief silence, just the sound of leaves moving above them. Then Arin spoke. He told Gurudev about the man at the well, about the glances, about the warmth in the man's face that looked almost like the glow of a boy in love. He admitted that it confused and even worried him. Gurudev, he asked quietly, why does a man who truly loves his wife sometimes feel drawn to other women? Is this a sign that his love is not pure? Is his heart divided? The question hung in the air for a moment. Gurudev did not rush to answer. He watched their faces, honest, young, afraid of what the truth might be. Then he spoke in a calm, simple voice. He said that what they were asking was something many men wonder inside, but rarely say aloud. He told them that the feeling of being drawn to another woman is often misunderstood. People think it always comes from desire, from lust, or from wanting to betray. But many times, that is not the root. He explained that when a woman smiles at a man or gives him kind attention, something can wake up inside him. He might suddenly feel more confident, more alive, more interesting, more seen. For a brief time, he feels like the best version of himself. This feeling, Gurudev said, doesn't actually belong to the woman. It belongs to the man himself. The students looked surprised. He told them that the woman, in that moment, is more like a mirror. She reflects back a side of him that was sleeping. What the man is drawn to is not really her, but the version of himself that appears in her presence. Dev asked, but Gurudev, if that man already has a wife he loves, why does he need that feeling from another woman at all? Gurudev nodded. It was an important question. He said that even a loyal man can carry emptiness inside him, old wounds, tiredness, doubts, or parts of himself that he has pushed down for years. When another person appears, and without knowing it, touches that empty space with warmth or attention, he feels suddenly full. It is not a sign that his love at home is fake, Gurudev said. It is a sign that there is a part of him he has not yet learned to fill from within. Raghav, who had been quiet, asked if this meant that all these small attractions were dangerous and wrong. Gurudev shook his head gently. He said that feeling a spark is not in itself wrong. Human beings are built to respond to newness, to being appreciated, to being recognized. This reaction is part of how the mind and body were shaped. The problem, Gurudev said, is not the spark. The problem comes when a man lies to himself about what the spark really is. He told them that when a man believes the feeling is about the woman, he may start to chase her, thinking she is the source of his aliveness. Then he becomes restless, confused, guilty, or trapped. But when he understands that the energy is his own, simply reflected through her, he can be honest. He can appreciate the moment without losing himself. Arin asked about great men from the old stories, men like Rama, Bhishma, Hanuman, who seemed untouched by temptation. Were they simply stronger than everyone else? Gurudev smiled again. He said those men were not made of stone. They too knew what it meant to feel drawn, to be tested. But the difference was that their hearts were already full. They had done the inner work to know who they were. When a man is full within, Gurudev said, he does not need outside sparks to feel alive. He may see beauty, he may receive attention, but it does not control him. Temptation does not vanish. It just loses its power over him. Dev leaned forward. So how does a normal man become like that, Gurudev? How can he reach that fullness? Gurudev spoke slowly, as if placing each word carefully on the ground between them. He said the first step is awareness, to notice the feeling when it rises and say to oneself, "This energy is mine. It only woke up because of what I saw or felt, but it lives in me." The next step is to watch the pattern. Often, the feeling is strong for a day or two, then suddenly fades. When the woman is gone, what remains is not the memory of her, but the memory of how one felt in her presence. This shows it was never about her in the first place. Then he told them that a man must learn to build his own inner life through meaningful work, honest reflection, spiritual practice, loving relationships, and self-respect. When he does this, he starts to generate that same energy from within. He can feel alive, confident, and seen, even when alone. Then, Gurudev said, a passing smile remains just a smile, not a storm. Raghav asked one more question. Gurudev, what if a man feels ashamed of these small attractions? What if he thinks, I must be a bad person for feeling this, even in my mind? Gurudev's face softened. He told them that shame often appears when people do not understand their own hearts. Attraction without intention, he said, is not a sin. It becomes a problem only when a person hides it, lies to himself, or uses it as an excuse to hurt someone who trusts him. He told them that the real journey of a man is not to never feel anything for anyone else, but to understand what those feelings really are, and to choose his actions with honesty and care. In the end, Gurudev said, men do not truly crave other women. They crave the version of themselves that wakes up in certain moments. When they learn to awaken that version from within, without needing someone else to trigger it, they become steady. A man who is whole inside, Gurudev said quietly, does not get carried away outside. He can see beauty without needing to possess it. He can receive attention without losing his center. And he can love the one who walks beside him with a cleaner, calmer, stronger heart. Arin, Dev, and Raghav sat silently for a long time after he finished. Something in their confusion had softened. They still had much to learn, but now they carried a different kind of question inside. Not what is wrong with men, but how can a man grow into his truest self? As the sun climbed higher and the shadows under the banyan tree shifted, they rose, bowed to their teacher, and walked back toward the village with a little more understanding of the hidden fires in the human heart and a quiet hope that they, too, could learn to be full from within.